What's up guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're going over Loopcloud 3 by Loopmasters. Now real quick, before we get started, Loopmasters were kind enough to provide me with a 20% discount code for you guys to use on your first purchase on their site. Now as I'm sure some of you already know, Loopmasters is actually the parent company of Plugin Boutique, and they've been a partner of this channel for a minute, so this is just something for you guys. So if you've been eyeing something on their site, click on the first link in the description, and at checkout use the code VAHN001, that's VAHN001, to save yourself some money. Additionally, even though they are a channel partner, they did not pay me or influence this review in any way. But okay, today we're talking about Loopcloud 3. Now, I think at this point we have several companies who have come out with some sort of royalty-free sample library service for producers. Now, these services at the core are more or less the same. They provide us with royalty-free sample one-shots and loops in exchange for a fee, whether that be a one-time thing or on a subscription model. Now, recently I've been messing around with Loopcloud 3 to see how it's stacked up with everything else that's out there, and then ultimately to see if I can incorporate it into my production on the daily. So let's check it out. So this right here is Loopcloud 3, and essentially it is a cloud-based sound library application that you download straight into your computer. Now this right here is probably the biggest difference when compared to everything else, because as opposed to logging into a website and doing what you have to do there, the way that you browse and download samples is through this cloud-based application that you download straight into your computer. Now, an important thing to note here is that the application itself is free to download, and much like with other services, you only pay for your samples, but we'll talk about the purchasing process in a minute. Now, on top of the free application, you also get roughly 1 GB of free sounds as a sort of welcome pack that you get right off the bat without you buying anything as soon as you create and register an account. On top of that, you also get 500 free points to spend on samples, but like I said, we'll talk about that in a minute. Now, if a free application, a free 1 GB pack of sounds, and 500 points to spend on samples wasn't enough to entice you to join, every week you also get 150 new sounds for free just for being a member. But okay, now that we've gone over all the free stuff you get just for signing up, before we dive into the purchasing process, I want to show you guys the app, give you guys a little tour, and show you exactly what you can do with it. But all right, this is my dashboard, and as you guys can see, this is my welcome pack that I got when I signed up, and then this here, the top one, is the free sounds that you get every week. Now, one of the things that I really love about Loopcloud is that they automatically tag all of your samples and make it really easy for you to find what you're looking for. So if you take a look at the top part of the app, you have the search parameter here, the search bar, and then here you can type in whatever you're looking for, and the application will search your library to see if you have what it is that you want. On top of that, you could also tell the application if you just want to look for loops, for one-shots, or if you just want to search your actual hard drive for any samples that you might have downloaded from Loopcloud. But okay, to demonstrate, let's go ahead and just type something up here. Let's say that I'm looking for a kick, for example, and I'm only looking for one-shots. Now immediately we see that we have a bunch of different results, and we can start auditioning from here. Now if I like any of these but I don't want to use them just yet, I can favorite them, and they'll go to my favorites folder up here. But if we do want to use them, then after we find the one that we want, we just click and hit download high quality file at the bottom left. Now you can tell whether a sound is on your actual computer hard drive or on the application by looking at the state column here. If it has this kind of like stacked disks icon, then it's on your hard drive, and if not, then it's only on the application. Now the last thing that I want to point out here is that if you don't have anything in your library that you're looking for, you could always just hit the search store button here, and you can search their library for different samples that are available for sale. But okay, let's say that you don't want to use the search bar for whatever reason, and you want to search through these categories or tags that I mentioned earlier. Now to do that, you're going to have to use these drop down menus here, and they range from instruments, genres, labels, formats, additional, and key and BPM. So let's go through these real quick. Let's say that I'm looking for a bass guitar and I want it to be soul. I'm looking for a high quality wave. And as you guys can see, I have one thing in my library that fits these categories. Now, if we take a look closer, we can see that it's in C minor, it's a live bass, it's a wave, it's 80 BPMs, and it's a loop. So let's go ahead and play it and see what it sounds like. Now the next thing that I want to highlight is the player at the very bottom of the application, which we just used to audition our sample. Now as producers, a lot of times when we find samples that we like, we bring them into our DAW first, and then there we mold and kind of sculpt it to fit the beat that we're working on. The cool thing about the player, like I said, is that it's also an editing module of sorts, so you can do a lot of the heavy work here and save yourself some time. So let me show you guys what I'm talking about. Let's say that I like this bass and I want to use it, but it doesn't quite fit my beat yet. What I can do then is come down here to the bottom and change things like the BPM and the key. So let's say, for example, that I don't want this in 80, I want it in 86. Then I would go ahead into the number here, double click, and just type in the number of the BPM that I want, so 86, and hit enter. Then I'm gonna go over to the key section, drop down the menu, and select, instead of C, I'm gonna select F, which is what I want, and then hit auto key. So if you saw at the bottom here, it did some sort of processing, but now this bass should be in the key of F at 86 BPM. So let's take a listen. Now real quick, if you take a look, instead of the download HQ file option, you have a little button here that says claim free content. Now the reason for this is because this is one of the free sounds that you get on a weekly basis, and they are free, but you do have to claim them to keep them. So what I'm gonna do then is I'm gonna go ahead and just hit claim. So now it says claimed, click to view. Let's go ahead and do that. There it is. And then from here, I can go ahead and just hit download HQ file. But okay, now that you guys know what you get for free and how the app works, let's talk about how to purchase samples. So purchasing samples is probably one of the most different characteristics of Loopcloud when compared to everything else. Most other services will have you pay a monthly fee, and in exchange, you get a certain amount of credits that you then trade in for your samples. Now, for some people, this method might be perfect because maybe you don't want to be restricted. Maybe you just want to pay X amount of dollars per month and get credits that you can use for your samples. On the other hand, though, you might be somebody who doesn't download as frequently, so you might be paying X amount of dollars per month and getting credits, and they might roll over, but if you're not using them, you're essentially paying for nothing. Now, I'm guessing Loop Masters must have identified the problem here with some people, because the way that you buy samples here is that you yourself have to go and make one-time purchases to buy credits, or points, as they call them here, and then exchange those for samples. Okay, so let's say, for example, that I'm ready to buy samples. The first thing you want to do is go over to your gear icon here at the top right, click it, and then hit buy more points. Now this will effectively redirect you to the Loop Masters site where you can here then buy points yourself. Now real quick, Loop Masters and Plugin Boutique are both based out of the UK, so that is why you're seeing euros here as the amount, but the transition, the conversion between that and dollars is super easy, and it all happens automatically when you pay anyway. But anyway, if we take a look, for 1,000 points, you would be paying 10 euros or $11.37. For 2,000 points, you'd be paying 20 euros or $22.74. And for 5,000 points, you pay 50 euros or $56.86. Now, once you make your selection and finish your transaction, then you can go back to your Loopcloud and all your points will show up on the top right here. Now, once you have your points set in place, and the next thing to do is to go shopping. So what you want to do is go ahead and click on the store button here at the top right. So as you can see, there's a bunch of different sample packs here, and you can actually go over any one of these and hit the play button to get a little preview of what's inside. Now, once you find something that you like, let's see what we got here. Let me do vocal acapellas. You can click on it to see the contents of the pack itself. Now, the first thing you'll notice at the top right here is how much this is worth if you buy the pack as a whole. So if you buy the entire thing, it's worth 997 points. Now, if you take a look below the price, you can see other information such as how much space this pack actually takes. So we got 700 megabytes. The format, so 24-bit WAV 441, and you could also see exactly what comes in the pack. So here we got, looks like 4 vocal tracks, 37 backing vocals, 25 ad-libs and phrases, among other things. But okay, if you take a look at the main part of the screen, you can start to go through folders and start auditioning sounds. So let's see what we have here. Let me go through this, and let's play something.
Dance all night, dance all night, dance all night. Dance all night, dance all night, dance all night. Burning like fire, pulling like a wire. Dance all night, dance all. Don't fight the feeling. Let's get revealing.
Now, you don't have to buy the whole pack if you don't want to. You can do what I'm doing now and kind of browse through files, and once you find something that you like, you can go ahead and just purchase that sound individually. So if you take a look, it looks like the first one that I played is worth 50 points, and then the rest for the most part are worth 100. So once you're ready to buy, go to the bottom left and hit buy file, or you can go over to the right hand side under the pack price, and now you'll see the individual item price reflected. You could also buy from here. Now real quick, whenever you play a sound that you don't already own, you're gonna hear some sort of background noise. Now that's not part of the sound, that's just a watermark, and the minute you buy the sample, it goes away. Now 2 things that I want to point out here. One is that whenever you buy it, instead of showing the price, it is now showing a check mark, and that means that it's now in your library. And 2, if you take a look at the pack price, it now went down. It is now worth 972 points. Now this is really good because if you decide to come back and buy the full pack, you don't have to pay the full price. You get a prorated price, which is really, really great. Now that in essence is the bulk of the app, but I do want to show you guys 2 more things. The first is that now with Loopcloud 3, you get the ability to upload your own samples and tag them however you want. Now to do that, you're gonna go to the plus icon on the top right here, click on it, and then search for whatever sounds you want to upload. I've already got some kicks that I use a lot, so I'm gonna select those and hit open. Now here you can see that it not only uploaded them, but it also did some of the tagging for me. So it's a kick, it's a WAV file, and it's a one-shot. So from here I can do further tagging. So I'm gonna select one, I'm gonna do the first one, and then go to the pen on the top right hand here. And here I can select certain tags and add them to my sound. So I'm gonna go to instruments, and this is a kick. So let's find that, it's drums, and it is a kick set. And as you can see, it filled it in there. Now you can keep going and make sure that this is exactly how you want it to be tagged, which again, in the end, will just make it easier for you to find. Now, the last thing that I want to show you guys for this is the actual VST, the Loopcloud 3 VST that you get when you download the application. So for that, we're going to head over to Studio One real quick, and I'm going to look for the Loop Masters folder under my VST. So it should be here. And here we have Bassmaster, which I did a review on. I'm going to link it up top there. But we're looking for the Loopcloud VST, and that's this here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just drag it into one of my empty MIDI files. Now, essentially what this VST does is it lets you link your DAW to your Loopcloud 3 application and lets you play and record whatever sound you have selected into your DAW as MIDI. So to show you guys what I mean, I'm gonna go back to my Loopcloud, and we have a kick loaded up, the one that I just uploaded. So from here, once it's loaded up, I can actually go ahead and start playing my MIDI keyboard to hear the sound and record it as MIDI. So let's go ahead and do that. And play that back. But that is it, guys. That is Loopcloud 3. Now, I've been enjoying it so far, and I think for all that you get for free up front, I think it's at least worth checking out. So in review, Loopcloud 3 is a cloud-based sound library application where you can browse and download samples. The application itself is free. For signing up, you get 1 GB of sounds and 500 points to spend on other samples, and then every week you get 150 new sounds just for being a member. On top of that, don't forget to save 20% on your first purchase at loopmasters.com by using the code VON001 at checkout. But as always, like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you're not already, but I'll see you guys on the next one.